there's probably over 900 people involved in setting this exhibition up. It's called Dinosaurs Gone to Extinction, and it's different than most other dinosaurs. In fact, I would say it really is different than other dinosaur exhibitions that are traveling around or have, because it puts dinosaurs in their place. It's not just about dinosaurs and their lives and why they originated, why they went extinct, but it's also about the things that came before them and the things that came after them. This exhibition comes with material from Argentina, it comes from material from Mongolia, from South America and various other places, and from Australia and Antarctica. So it's got lots of places on Earth. So it puts dinosaurs in their place geographically, and it puts dinosaurs in their place on a time scale. Put that together with the variety of institutions that are participating here. You've got a university, Monash University, you have got the San Juan Natural History Museum, you have got institutions from around the world participating, and in addition to that, you're working with scientists and artists. The artist Peter Trussler, whose art, there are several of his art pieces here, upwards of 40, 50 art pieces. He is by all means one of the best, if not the best, paleo reconstruction artists that we had. He's a landscape painter, he's a portrait artist, he has worked with a scientist, and he himself is a scientist that has put this together, looking in meticulous detail at the environment, at the climate, at the construction of the dinosaurs themselves and the other animals.
We've got to see that, and then we've got to adjust this so that you can actually see it. Peter will do that. That's fine.
Now, to put an exhibition like this together is no easy task. It takes coordination, and in this case here in Singapore is our first example of this exhibition. It's trying to get artists, technicians, scientists, a whole bevy of people, public relations people, educationalists all together. That is quite a challenge.
So one of these, either this case or this case, will also stay. And this case will either move over here or move here into this position, right?
What I've found with this exhibition that was really, really interesting is with these people all working together, we came up with some really good new ideas about how to educate young kids, how to interest their grandparents, and how to bring their parents into this exhibition.
Megalania is wide-bodied. You know, he's going to have his feet net out. I would imagine we're going to have toes and ribs pretty close here.
To put an exhibition together like this, because there's so many people involved, there's people, the scientists, and scientists not just from one institution, not just from Monash University, not just from the San Juan Natural History Museum, but scientists from lots of other institutions have their material in here. That takes coordination. That was my job as curator, to coordinate all this material and to put together scientific papers, but written in a style that a person who is not an expert in that area, who doesn't know the words that one uses in science, it needs to be put out there. It needs to also be put out there with a purpose, and the purpose I had and the purpose that the museum here had was to have people think about what all this means with regard to now and the future.
Our fascination for dinosaurs is because the main thing is because they cannot be seen, around, and so they got all extinct. And it's like traveling in time, to the magic world, practically to a different world, dominated with these incredible animals, these incredible beasts, and they got diversified in so many great, shapes and adaptations. I mean, they are fascinating creatures, to learn, and they rule the world.
You begin the exhibition, you're invited to dinner. You're invited to dinner and you're the dinner. It's a very impressive herd of Herrerasaurs, which are some of the oldest dinosaurs. Some small species, some larger species, and you walk in the door, you see shadow puppets in the background, you see the dinosaur skeletons, very, very high quality casts, and you get an idea of what it would be like if you were one of the herbivores that were around at that time, and it would have been a dangerous time. So you go through that hall and you're underwater. The hall is blue. You're underwater, you're looking at the animals that were around, the first ones, and ones that developed from them. And so you go through time from about 600 million years ago to about 200+ million years ago. And then there is a major, major extinction. It's an extinction of up to 70–80% of all life on land because, of course, animals have gotten onto land. They're still in the sea, but they're onto land. Then you come into the dinosaurs, and it's stark. The continents are all together in one supercontinent, and the middle of that continent is desert. And there are very few things left from that major extinction. Appear the dinosaurs. About 230, 240 million years ago, a tiny little animal about that size is the first dinosaur that you see. That dinosaur is a thing called Marsuchus. I can't even remember the name. There's so many names in this exhibition that even it challenges the mind of the paleontologist. You go on a little further into Triassic times, which is when you're come into across that boundary, that big extinction. You find dinosaurs begin to grow. Their brains begin to expand. They begin to become bipedal like us, 2 legs running around. Their bones become hollow, and they just become agile, fast, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally, they become real competitors for some of these other organisms that go around walking like this, or maybe walking a little bit like this, but none of them are anywhere near as agile and as versatile or as smart as the dinosaurs. Then you go through that times, dinosaurs expand, they get big, they get small, they're all over the place, and they take over, they begin to take over. But in the bushes, down in the roots of the trees, there's a little animal about this size, which is called Calamenia, named after a famous Indian chief. And that is a mammal-like reptile that was to soon produce something that was going to eventually take over from the dinosaurs. Then you go across into the Jurassic. Everybody knows the Jurassic. You go into the Jurassic, and there's a whole series of dinosaurs. The mammal-like reptiles lose out, except for the small ones. The crocodile-like reptiles really quite lose out going across that boundary between the Triassic and Jurassic. And so small again wins over, and then the dinosaurs, looking around, not seeing any competitors, they expand extensively in that period of time from the Jurassic into the Cretaceous until they come to their end, except for one group. That one group flies today, and you've got dinosaurs. You can go dinosaur watching. So that goes through the dinosaurs, and then we come into this hall, this beautiful modern world called the Cenozoic. Cenozoic is present life, and it's the time that we live, starting about 66 million years ago, and it's after another major extinction. The dinosaurs go out, except for the birds. And remember that little Calamenia? Remember that little tiny mammal-like reptile? Well, basically, its progeny become mammals, and the mammals expand. So we come into this world. This world is a world that we are in control of, sort of. We are the first animals on this planet that have the brains and the ability to try and craft our own future. But if we don't do it right, we could have a future like the dinosaurs did. And I don't know whether I'm going to turn into a bird or not, but I can tell you people really need to pay attention to what they've learned in this exhibition through all this time, all this 600 million years plus time, and use it to plan for their future.
I'm not afraid to say this is maybe the biggest show on dinosaurs, traveling around the world right now. But also is the diversity you have here. You have an experience on practically an unknown world, which is the Triassic. And so these people have the opportunity to see these creatures for the first time ever. They are not on TV, they are not on movies, and so this is the first time they can see all these characters. And so the exhibition as a whole, the Triassic exhibition, plus the Australian specimens, the Precambrian, the artwork of Peter, which is beautiful, and makes it really, really an incredible experience.
It's just such a varied and just plain delightful exhibition. I can say that as the curator, but I think just in listening to the comments of the people going through it, they back me up on those particular ideas. So I really think it's quite unique, and it does put dinosaurs in their place.